All right. I apologize if you don't get back to you right away because obviously you're between rooms. Okay, well, let's see. Okay, so ABO, I've learned is apparently just where we'll. I'm sorry, I'm not much of a furry. I'm good without that. I don't know. I don't usually do a lot of heavy like sex stuff in things I watch or read anyway. And it's not like look. I'm gonna tell you right now. We're doing fan fiction tropes, the tier list, and I don't read fan fiction. I just don't like. I don't have anything against it. I just don't. I don't like make the time. Go catch every animal. Exactly. Amnesia fic. That's also a D. Amnesia feels like such a cop-out. Like they're like, well, we want to write a plot, but we don't know what we want to write right away. So we're going to make the main character have amnesia and slowly build things back up so we have a chance to figure it out. Angst is also a D because angst is annoying. I mean, I get it, but also arranged marriage. D. Why would you want arranged marriage? That sucks. Wow, this list is... Sorry, we're going through this like rapid fire and everything's in D so far. Baby fic. No thanks. I don't need to imagine life with a baby. I don't need a fic for that. I've taken care of my niece and nephew before. It's a handful. Sharing a bed. Like, what does that mean? Sharing a bed, but you're not like married, or sharing a bed with sharing a bed how? Bang or die. What? That's a thing? Body swap. You know what? Body swap. A. They did it in Pokemon too, and it was kind of funny. Sharing a bed. I don't know. It really depends on the context as to what the hell it means. B. Why not? Bang or die. A. The stakes are high. Coffee shop AU. What? I mean, it depends. Because there's nowhere else for the other person to sleep. Like, okay, so that's a B. Because it could be good or bad. No, and I know AU means alternate universe. Only one bed is a trope where characters discover they have to or that they choose to share a bed for either sexual tension or comedic effect. I feel like B then, because that's a happy medium. Because it could either go terribly and be horrible, or it could be like cute. I don't know. Coffee shop AU. Like, a lot of these depend on the source material, I feel like, you know? Most AU things. I was about to say, you know what? Anything that's school, college AU, no thanks. They always make it like weird. Coffee shop we'll put in B. I mean, at least coffee shop like is, anybody can be at a coffee shop. Okay. Crackfic. Okay, what the hell does crackfic? Does crackfic mean that it's bad? Is this like it's bad, but you read it because... Is it guilty pleasure type thing? Okay, humor. S. I like funny things. In vino veritas. What? Why would you put subtext in there? I can't read that. It's so small. Established relationship. Like just characters that don't usually... Crackfic. Oh, okay. Okay. I'd say C. Sometimes that can work, but it feels like forced humor. Crossover. I like how it's cowboy and spaceman. Sure, why not? A. Actually, B. It could be good or bad. Like this is making me think like one of those personality quizzes or the things that they give you before you get a job, where they're like, don't choose stuff in the middle, but most of the stuff you're like, I don't feel like one way or the other about this. So, dark fic, like, it's just bad. Major character death. Sure, add spice. S rank. Canon divergence. People tend to do weird things with that, so I'll put that in C. Enemies to lovers. B, because it depends on the situation. You know what? I should put that. Depends on the situation. Usually always good. Generally, works for most things. Depends on the situation. A little too much. And D, No thanks. You're going to, okay. Establish relationship. Like, I guess just like, I mean, depends on, sure. Depends on the situation. Fairy tale AU. No thanks. I feel like that gets overdone so much, or a little bit too much. Fake relationship. What? Oh, okay. I've seen animes like that where they're like, oh, I gotta do this so my parents think that I've been friends to lovers. Fix it, fic. Like, relationship fluff. Hurt comfort. Historical AU. High school AU. Oh, that's immediately bonk. Huddle for warmth. What? Like, some of these are very specific. Unhappy ending. You know what? Honestly, depends on the situation. Unrequited love. Also depends on the situation. Love triangle. A little too much. Not a fan. Meaning it contains highly unpleasant situations or plot elements. The line between angst and dark fic can be blurry. Oh, angst and dark flick. Boom. Both of them go into no thanks. Dark fic plots often include elements oh, yeah. Okay, that's a no thanks. Sex pollen. Like, is it literally just sex pollen? I'll put that in a little too much. Royalty AU. No thanks. We don't need any more. Eat the rich. Soulmate AU. What? Time loop. No thanks. I get so tired of time loops. Like, especially if, you know, it's funny because I've dealt with games and media that do time loops and I'm like, oh, they did it okay, but fanfics, like, sometimes they just don't know when to quit. Missing scenes. What? Magic AU. No thanks. Wonder if becoming a fact. Yeah, it really is. It's literally. Why is that common enough that it has its own thing? No. Like I said, there's a hentai. It's because it's called like the Pollenic Girls Attack. Don't ask me how I know this. I just do. And it's definitely, they've got some sort of like something that makes everybody want to have sex. So yeah, keep that in hentai. Also, hi Geeku. Sorry. Slow burn. Depends on the situation. Sometimes slow burns can lead to good payoffs, and other times slow burns can lead to you just being like, why did I read this? Like, this shit sucks, basically. Friends to lovers. Also, depends on the situation. Historical AU, no thanks. Huddle for warmth. Like, is this another, it could be sexual thing? Like, it feels like, I don't want to generalize, but there's a lot of fan fiction that's just very sexual. They can't fix your laptop, so now you need it. No, what? Why can't they fix it? What happened? Okay, so you said that PWP is like pointless. Pointless. Oh, porn without plot. Not really for me, and especially since a lot of fan fiction porn is really badly written. You need a new one? You have oh, that's good. So it was like under warranty and everything. Whew. Okay, missing scenes depends on the situation because I feel like I've watched animes where things like skip around, so you're missing information, but then it all like weaves together. So I don't know if that's what they mean by missing scenes, or if missing scenes is literally you just have to make shit up yourself, which seems like that's the whole point of the fanfic is they're making stuff up. Why do I have to make up stuff on top of the stuff they're making up? That's too much making up of stuff. Yeah, no, that's good, Geeky. I'm glad for that at least. I'm sorry you had to deal with that, but pregnancy fic, I'm good. You don't need to add, like, that's fine. Soulmate AU, nah. Mutual pining. I'll put that in a little too much because sometimes that can be annoying because they'll pine for each other, but they won't actually act on anything, and you're just like, just fuck already, you know? Miscommunication. Oh, God. That's also in a little too much because, like, it can really just make things annoying. Which I guess some people like to feel annoyed while, like, reading stuff or being like, why didn't they do it this way? But, you know. Okay, fake relationship. Depends on the situation. I've watched animes that have similar themes like that, but generally they fake the relationship and then they start realizing they have feelings for each other, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Honestly. But let's see. Fix it, fic. I'm gonna assume that means like relationship fixing. Sure. Depends on the situation. Fluff. I don't know if fluff, a little bit too much for me, because I'm just like, I just want things to happen. I don't know what genfic means. I don't know why it's a green dot. Hurt comfort, I'm going to assume, means that somebody got hurt, somebody else is caring for them, and then they figure out that they like each other. Depends on the situation. Like I know that's kind of like a, that sounds like a very like cop-out answer, but it really is like, that's just, it depends on the situation. Because sometimes it works really well, sometimes it sucks. First kiss. Story, soft, lighthearted, comfort, happy. Oh, okay. So it's a gentle scenario. It's not actually like, okay, you know what? In that case, sure, I'll go worse for most things. I thought it meant fluff. When I think of fluff, I think of like padding on things, like things that don't really, yeah. As fell out and are missing, the shell cracked, and the 8 and I and key stopped. Oh, jeez. Hopefully whatever you get next is a little more substantial and doesn't fall apart on you. Okay, first kiss. It depends on this. Well, I feel like that happens a lot, like a little too much. Like, if they're gonna like each other, just like each other. Figure stuff out. In vino veritas. I don't know what that means. Huddle for warmth. No thanks. There's like a lot of these are like, they sound like they're just like, they don't sound as specific as they are. Like, you're like, oh, maybe it's a general term, and it's like, no, the characters are literally huddling for warmth. And okay, I don't know what genfic or in vino veritas means. In vino. Under the influence of alcohol, the person tells the truth. What? That sounds stupid. I hate that. Genfic. Like, just tell the truth. Genfic, unaccountable, fandom slang. Fan fiction that does not focus specifically on romance or sex. Usually always good. Bam! Wow, isn't it funny that the one thing that I'm like doesn't focus on the one thing that most fanfics focus on? I'm like, yeah, that works out okay. There we go. There's our unofficial, official fanfiction tropes tier list. Usually always good. Humor. Major character death. Look, I know that sounds bad, but major character death usually results in growth for the characters around them, or different themes being explored that you don't usually see in media, like acceptance and stuff like that, you know? Like just general, and then genfic. None of that sexy stuff. Just make a story, please. You don't have to have the sex. Works for most things. Body swap. I mean, we've all probably seen a version of Freaky Friday or other things that happened because of it. It's usually pretty funny, and I mean, generally they get their bodies back and all that, and everything's all good. But shenanigans and hijinks ensue. Bang or die. Stakes are very high. Just do it. Or don't, if you want to die, I guess. Fluff. Now that I know that it just means like a lighthearted, nice, like, feel-good story, I'm like, yeah, that works for most things, you know? Depends on the situation. A lot of stuff. Sharing a bed. It might be really weird and creepy, or it could be very cute. Coffee shop AU. I mean, out of all, that's like the only AU I put, and depends on the situation, because I feel like a coffee shop is a good neutral ground for most things. Like, let me tell you, college, high school, magic AU, almost all of these like lend towards romance or other like very like kind of even college AU. It just feels like a very immature setting, you know? Crossover. I mean, everybody likes crossover. Remember, like, the Flintstones meet the Jetsons? Great crossover. Which makes me sound super old when I talk about that, because that came out a while ago. But enemies to lovers. Also depends on the situation. Like, because sometimes people will put, like, the worst characters that could be together, and they're like, yeah, no, this is fine. It's like, that is the most toxic, horrible bullshit ever. Okay, established relationship. I mean, if you're working off of something that's already established, that's fine. You're not really changing anything. You're just kind of adding to the story. I would assume that's what it means. Unhappy ending. Depends on the situation. Sometimes unhappy endings can just be too abrupt or just not, like, work out. Like, they don't tie up any loose ends, and you're just like, this made me feel sad, and also I feel like it wasted my time a little. Unrequited love. Kind of annoying. It really depends on the situation. Like, some people handle it better than others. So I don't know. Slow burn. I've read plenty of things. Like, look, I've read all of Lord of the Rings. Those books are definitely slow burners, but you know, and granted, this is talking about fanfic, but things can have a really good payoff after a slow burn. Some things, the entire book is the slow burn, and there's never a payoff, and you're just like, cool, that sucked. But yeah, so that's why it depends. Friends to lovers also depends, because sometimes it can be way too cheesy or over the top, and sometimes it's like very natural. Coffee, yeah. Yeah, no, a coffee shop AU just sounds like friend. Like, it doesn't sound like anybody's getting in a relationship. It's like you're just hanging out, meeting people at the coffee shop and chatting, and then going home, not killing each other. Missing scenes, like I said, I don't really understand this one either. If it means missing scenes as in, like, if it's dramatic irony where you learn stuff before the characters do, but then there's other stuff you don't know because it hasn't happened yet, and then you see it later, or if it's literally just a lot of stuff is up to interpretation. So that's why I put it depends. Fake relationship. Sometimes it works out. Like, it's usually one of those, we pretended to be in a relationship and now we really like each other. But sometimes it can be really, like, over the top, and sometimes you're like, oh, no, that seems like a natural progression. Fix it fic. I'm going to assume fixed relationship. Also depends, because some relationships don't need to be fixed. Hurt comfort. Another one, because sometimes hurt comfort feels more like somebody's taking advantage of the situation. And that's never a good feeling, you know, where you're like, oh, this person's hurt. Better swoop in and take care of them so they love me. You know, stuff like that. Little too much. Crack fic. Just ridiculous to be ridiculous. Not really my thing. Like, I like slapstick humor as much as the next person, but like, some things are a little bit too much. Canon divergence, those can just get really, really off the rails. I mean, the whole point of a fanfic is to not, you know, adhere directly with the source material, but also some people just go nuts. Fairy tale AU, the only reason why this is here instead of at the very bottom is because a lot of them are more like just lighthearted, like adventures and things like that, more than focusing on romance. I feel, like I said, I haven't read a lot of fan fiction myself, but I don't know. I feel like it would just, but it might still be a little bit too much depending on which fairy tale they were going with. Love triangle, also a little bit too much, because my God, it gets used so much, and usually nobody ends up happy in that situation. But there's always one person that just like gets shafted real bad. Sex pollen. It's literally pollen that just makes you want to have sex. That's, yeah, come on. I mean, I wouldn't say that it's like a straight up no thanks. Like, maybe somebody could figure out a way to work it in so it's not like extra weird or not just hentai. But yeah, I don't know. Mutual pining. A little too much, because it can get quite annoying just watching people. I mean, granted, I've watched anime where the two characters are like, we really like each other, but we can't say anything. And you're just like, just do it already. Miscommunication. Also, like, one of those things where sometimes it's miscommunication and then they figure it out and they make up and everything's good. Or it just keeps getting worse and worse. And you're like, oh, this is just too much anxiety. And then first kiss also, like, I feel like that's just a trope that's used so much. Okay, and then everything else, it's pretty ABO, no thanks. Amnesia fic, that's way too much. They use that all the time. Look, I played Kingdom Hearts. There's enough amnesia in Kingdom Hearts to last like a century. Angst, annoying. Arranged marriage, come on. Baby fic, no thanks. College, high school, nah. Dark fic, that's just angst, but worse. Royalty AU, Eat the Rich, Time Loop. Very few people do time loops well, so no. Magic AU, same as college, high school. Historical AU, I don't want to learn. PWP, you might as well just read porn. Just read porn. Pregnancy fic. No, that's just like baby fic, but the prequel to baby fic. Soulmate AU. No thanks. Like, soulmate is always, it's a little bit too, like, slathered on for my liking. Like, there's one thing to have, like, because I know I have established relationship, but soulmate always, it feels like they take it, like, to the next level of, like, gushiness, and I'm just like, it's not for me. Huddle for warmth. I'm gonna assume it's literally huddling for warmth, and that's weird. And then telling the truth when drinking alcohol. No, why? Dumb. Anyway, there you go. That's my tier list for fan fiction tropes. Thank you all for coming. It's... gosh. There's so much stuff out there that I do not know about. I had to have most of this explained to me, but that's fine. Sometimes that's just how it is.